That and more is what we're going to now be discussing with Peter McGuire, the Chief Executive Officer at XM Australia, as well as Mitul Kotecha, Senior Emerging Market Strategist at TD Securities. Thank you so much for joining us live right here on the market. Peter, let me come to you first. With the consumer price inflation coming in, something that we've not seen for 39 years, which camp do you fall in? With the taper being expedited, and if that does happen, what's going to be the impact on flows? Because what we saw overnight on Wall Street, despite that inflation data, was a new record high being created.
Well, good morning. Yeah, a couple of very interesting points. And if you're looking at that Atlanta Fed number that was released in the last couple of days, it's looking at 8.7% over the past quarter as far as US inflation. So from the lens that I'm looking through, I think by February we'll be above 8%. We're sitting at 6.8 for that November to November, and that really creates much angst to the Fed. And where they roll, they've got the numbers. They're looking at as far as consumption patterns. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a quicker than usual rollback as far as taper and increasing velocity as far as rate rises for 22.
Peter, that's one aspect of it, the impact on equity markets. But what's going to happen with money markets? What happens to the dollar levels, which thereby is going to impact the equity market movement in any case eventually?
Well, if we see those 3 rate rises in 22, no doubt I think that'll put further horsepower behind the US dollar index. We've seen a very strong move to the upside, and that seems to be a very big attraction to currency traders. How many? I'm speaking to different people all over the globe. Some analysts are saying 4, and we might even see 5. So everyone's got a different viewpoint. They're like noses, and everyone's got a nose. So that's an opinion. The other side is how to contain inflation, and that really is off the Richter. If you're looking at the numbers that you used in 1980, as far as measurement tools for inflation, you'd be running at close to 15%. So if you look at the spending power and what impact it's having to consumers, it's a great handbrake. It mightn't be to the wealthy, but to the person on Main Street that hasn't had a wage rise, they've been crimped and really hit hard from all forms of their shopping basket is far more expensive today than what it was a year ago. And we've only got to look at fuel prices and the impact of those and what they're having to the consumer globally.
Okay. Mitul, what happens to the Chinese environmental commitment towards making China more environmental friendly? That commitment, in a sense, has capped a lot of production. There are Winter Olympics. What happens once that is over?
So as far as where we're running, I think you've got to look at what happens as far as the Evergrande situation over the next couple of months. You've got to look at how that whole plays out. And there are many components to the Chinese economy leading up to the Olympics that have got to be worked through. What happens from a government standpoint? Do they come to rescue the property sector? And how many other players are there out there that have got similar balance sheet issues and sensitive, lending practices similar to what the Evergrande situation is?
Okay, Mitul, Peter, both of you, thank you so much for taking the time out and discussing with us.
Thank you.